Yo, what's good, everybody? It's your boy Steph from the Hot Moon Podcast. And Ja Morant, we finally hear from him. He has a sit-down interview with Jalen Rose. There was a small clip of it floating out there. They're going to have the full interview aired tonight, I believe. But, I mean, boy, did Ja Morant look like he was in an interrogation room, man. You know, I mean, he looked very stoic. I mean, the answers he was just, giving to Jalen Rose, very, very standard, very, very clean, the right thing to say, the obvious thing to say. Here's an example of one of the point-blank questions Jalen Rose had asked him.
Spot, Shotgun Willies, I've been there. You are holding a gun. And we both know how dangerous that can be. Whose gun were you holding?
Well, the gun wasn't mine. It's not who I am. I don't condone any type of violence, but I take full responsibility for my.
I mean, the boy looked like the feds was on him, man. I mean, what was he supposed to say? Of course the gun is not his. And he's not going to tell him who the gun is anyway. And of course he's going to say that he's learned and he's changed. And to be fair, he's young. He's 23. Everybody makes mistakes. I don't know about that kind of mistake. At least waving a gun on IG Live, but it's our generation with social media and stuff like that. So in this case, I get it. He's young. He's allowed to make mistakes, but just not the mistakes that's going to cost him too much. But hopefully he really does learn from it. And, this is not really to tear Ja Morant down. I mean, he's like I said, he's young. He's going to learn. We hope he learns from this. But I just think that this interview was, at least the clips that we've seen from this interview, I mean, did we really need to hear from Ja Morant, considering that he is in rehab in Florida? I don't know if this interview took place in Florida at the facility or this was prior to him going. But maybe we'll learn about that in the full interview. But I mean, at the same time, though, I mean, let the man, he got roasted on social media. Media in general roasted him. Really came down hard on him, and as they should, what I'm saying, because you're a young athlete with so much potential and such a bright future. But oh man, I felt like during this interview, police are listening on this, and additional charges might get brought down. That's how it felt. I wonder if he had an attorney before he did this interview, and what kind of questions Jalen Rose was allowed to ask him. So we'll see what happens with this the rest of the interview. I mean, I'm not going to watch it. There's nothing really Ja Morant can say outside of just the standard responses of I've learned, I'm reformed. I mean, I don't know how much reform he can do in a couple weeks, but hey, Ja Morant's out and he's addressing it. So I give him credit for at least getting out there in public and answering the tough questions in his mind. But for us, I mean, it's just kind of like, man, boy, what you doing, man? What you waving that little dangly gun that's not yours? And on top of that, if it's not your gun, I mean, do we not know if that gun's linked to a crime or anything like that? Come on now, so yeah. So just my thoughts on it. So anyways, guys, thanks for listening. Please like, subscribe. I'm out.